he kept explaining it, and he was saying it. The thing is, he was saying it wrong. It is. I don't remember how he was saying it, but it's Lipizzaner. It's like the Lipizzaner stallion, Steve.
Lipizzaner. Wait, was that second word stallion?
That's how the whole thing started. And he just said I don't remember what he was saying, but it wasn't Lipizzaner, and he wasn't talking about stallions. That's all I know. All right, Steven, forget it.
The older I get, the more I realize there's a lot more of this world for me to learn about. You know, I think that's
yeah. The older I get, the further away from being young I get.
You're telling me.
I don't know if you noticed this, Steven. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I am dressed up tonight.
You are dressed up. Look at that. Look at that blazer. Look at that blazer.
I have a blazer. On. I spritzed a little perfume on as well, a little fragrance. I wanted to dress up tonight because we have a special guest who's going to be joining us tonight. Bridget is on assignment, so she can't be with us tonight. So I've invited. Do you know Eileen Ryan? She's the queen of the career. Yep. So she's going to be joining us tonight. She should be here any second.
Yep. I'm here. Here. You forgot. I came on already.
She's right there, Steven.
I'm waving.
She's right here. She was here with us all along.
The power of the World Wide Web.
You both dressed up beautifully tonight for me. I'm honored.
I wore a black shirt just for you, Eileen. Just for you.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet.
Straight away, we're getting this. Straight away.
Yep.
You should smell me, Michelle. So Eileen is joining us tonight because as I said, Bridget's on assignment tonight, and Eileen is here with us tonight. Now, frequent or regular viewers will recognize Eileen Ryan's name. They'll know Eileen because Eileen is the queen of the career. And she's here with us every single week, except she's always in the audience. But Eileen, one of the things I love about your participation in the performance is that you're always taking notes for everyone, and you're like the note taker.
You know what? It helps me to write it down because it ingrains it in my head. So all of these sayings and all these tips that you guys have been offering all these weeks, also, it's really great to go back and rewatch these videos. Okay, then it might be this week, it might be next week, but I get to rewatch them. So
I always find that whenever one of us makes a point, you're always right there. You write out the whole thing, and then boom, it shows up on the screen, and Shazam, everybody, it's like the Cliff Notes version. It's amazing to me. What do you think, Steven?
I love it, and unprovoked, and you're thinking on another level. Way before this, we all jumped on a video, a couple days ago, and Chris was like, Steven, have you met Eileen? And I'm like, you know what, I feel like I've met Eileen because ultimately, through your marketing, Eileen, you've done such a good job at bringing me into your world that I feel like it's just you take people on a journey with your marketing, and it's just so cool. I feel like I really can understand your victories and stuff, but you're just thinking on another level, and taking notes like that, and just shooting what we say, our points in the comments, keeping us on track, which keeps us on track. Thank God.
He does keep us on track.
It's just so wonderful.
But that is so kind of you to say. And I have this really great person who has taught me how to do my social media because it wasn't working until this fateful meeting in July. And I had no idea that my whole world was going to change on that day. And I started on July 13th. I remember the day.
Wow.
July 13th, I called Chris. I said, let's do this. Let's get going. Change the world. So
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Eileen, listen, I want to do a formal introduction of you. A lot of nice, fun nonsense happens around here, but also, Eileen has the official nickname. She is the queen of the career. And Eileen, what I love about what you do is you help people rapidly move their careers forward. Now, you start with people as young as high school age and help them navigate the process of getting into college, which is really the first step towards a career for many people. And then once they're in college, you help them move from college out into a career. And when they're in a career, if they, for whatever reason, get lost from that career, you help them rapidly move into another. And I'll just tell one story that I know about you. And that is, you helped someone who had been looking for a job for about 10 months and hadn't found one. And then they came and they worked with you, and they took you have a course that teaches people the art of finding a job. And they took your course, and I think within like 2 weeks, we were hired and they got a job. And so the true, here's the fascinating point for all of this, the true cost for them was 10 months of unemployment at about $10,000 a month. So those, that individual, it cost them $100,000 to be unemployed, when in 2 weeks' time, and I know I'm overstating this, but in 2 weeks' time, you help them get employment.
You're really not overstating it. It has been as quick as maybe 2 weeks. It's been as quick as 3 weeks, multiple interviews. This last person within 4 weeks was hired. And the reality is, the hardest thing to do is to market yourself. I mean, it just is. I'm working with vice presidents of marketing for multi-billion-dollar corporations, college students, college grads, all the way down to high school students. And it's hard to look objectively, which, again, is why we look to you, Chris, for coaching in terms of marketing our businesses and getting out there.
I really do appreciate you saying that, and thank you for sitting in for Bridget tonight. We know Bridget's on assignment, and we're inspired to have you here with us tonight. So, just in case Bridget's watching, we could all she does this. She goes,
"Hi, Bridget. We miss you, Bridget. We miss you. I have big shoes to fill."
CAC the proofreader chimes in. CAC the proofreader wants to share this. CAC, all you have to do is start a watch party. That's really all. You just go ahead, just start clicking on your screen until it says start a watch party, and you start that watch party. All right, guys. So, what we're here to talk about tonight, because we always talk about entrepreneurialism here. What we're here to talk about tonight is, how can an entrepreneur who happens to be watching us right now, and we generally get a couple thousand views throughout the week through all the channels, because I'm on. This is going to various Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube.
Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu.
How can an entrepreneur either get their first few clients or their next few clients rapidly? So, Eileen, I want to ask you a question, because you deal with people from an employment standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But I would imagine that you run into a lot of people who are at that weird place where they're like, should I go for a job, or should I go for entrepreneur, whatever that word is, entrepreneurialism? I'm at this crossroads. What should I do? What happens when you meet somebody who's like that?
I tell them, you know what, you got to keep fingers in both pots. You don't know which one's going to boil over. So while you're looking for a new job, take a look and see if there's some consulting work out there, and maybe entrepreneurship is for you, and grow that business at the same time. You know what? The winds will take you in a certain direction. You'll see what you enjoy. Also, there's also a certain stage of life. Do you really want to go back to that 9-to-5 job, that 9-to-5 grind, or do you want to build something for yourself? Not everyone is set up for either side.
That's an interesting point. And especially because someone who is at that point in their career, they've amassed enough knowledge where they can go out, and they can go out and just start consulting because they have that kind of knowledge.
The one problem, though, that I find is that they're really great at what they do, but they're not good at the business development side. So they don't know how to get clients, even though they're great at what they do. Mm-hmm. So that's when they need to reach out for help. And I've spoken with a number of people, and they don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how to sell. Okay, and it's not really selling; it's building relationships. Yeah. But I think most of us who are in your group, Chris, felt that way. That we were really great at what we do, but we need to get the word out there.
And what I find to be a great start, and I think people are hesitant to make this start. And I always talk about real estate agents, because many times a real estate agent has just begun their first business themselves. A lot of agents that I've spoken to, this might be their first entrepreneurial job, and they're looking for this random stranger at the mall, and they're looking for that person before they even talk to their family, their best friends. They're if you're I'm 30 something, and I even me, a social recluse, has an entire kind of a bevy of people that I've met. And I understand that it might feel a little, odd if you've never marketed to these people, if you never talked to them about business ventures. But these people are what a mentor of mine used to call your cheerleaders. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that want you to succeed. They're the ones that actually want to see you be happy and successful and innovative. And so if you go to these people, not only is it a good training ground for marketing yourself, but you might be surprised, they might have all kinds of referrals for you in the future or even now. So if you're out there right now and you're wondering, where should my first clients, where should I go to get my first clients? Don't go to the mall looking for a stranger, okay? I've done that before. I remember in real estate, me and two other realtors went to a mall and we all like spread out like piranhas or sharks, or I was kind of like a minnow, but ultimately we spread out.
Yep.
And I think I ultimately think that before we did that, when we started going to our friends and family, the leads started coming in.
So Stephen, your advice to anyone who is starting an entrepreneurial journey is to really just take that first inner circle and see what you can start to churn up within that inner circle. And these are the people.
Your sphere of influence.
Yeah, go within your sphere of influence. So I totally agree. And I think once you've exhausted that, which is going to happen rapidly, because you only know so many people, you only have so many family members, and they're only going to be able to provide you with so much, especially when it's highly dependent on what you do for work. So then you have to move beyond that sphere.
Always.
You need to start attracting people to you who are just outside of that sphere but might be connected to you. So here's an example. If you're on LinkedIn, and Eileen, you are absolutely like the LinkedIn, I know you. You are literally
every day.
You are so imbued in LinkedIn. But one of the things that you can do is first connect with your family and friends on LinkedIn. That's going to give you a whole bunch of first level connections. But what that's moreover going to do is give you a tremendous amount of second level connections. These are the connections who are connected to you via one person. So like let's say I connected with Stephen and with Eileen. Well, they have a whole bunch of connections. Those connections now become my second level connections. And now with access to them, I now have people that I could start reaching out to and connect with them. And this is how you grow. This is how you grow your connection base. And all of these people are people you could be reaching out to, not with a sales message, reaching out to connect and get to know them. You don't want it, any of you, if any of you listening to this right now, start reaching out with sales messages, I will publicly call you out. You don't reach out with a sales message. You reach out to connect and communicate with these people. So one of my tips to you to rapidly get your next couple of clients is start to leverage social media. Leverage the people that you know to build second level connections, whether it's Facebook, whether it's LinkedIn, and start to leverage the power of the online network to start to bring those clients to you. Speaking of networking, Eileen, I want to toss over to you the concept of actual networking. And I know you do a lot of that. What are your thoughts on using the power of networking to get your first few clients?
That is one of the silver linings of COVID, to tell you the truth, that I think people are willing to get on the phone with you. So you're not stuck to your local networks anymore, where you went out and you sat at a table and everyone introduced themselves and you maybe spoke to two people. Well, now you're going into these big meetings online, but people are willing to take the time to get to know you and build a relationship afterwards. And it's all about building relationships, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. It's that simple. So take the call. I've gotten on calls where I said, this is going to be the worst call ever. I tell my husband, I don't want to take this call. and I get on the call and it surprises me, and it was the best call, and I keep in touch with these people constantly now. So you just never know where things are going to lead.
That's people that you've met through networking.
All people I've met through networking globally, not only just in Florida, okay, not only in my home state of New Jersey, but globally. I think I can pick up and move to North Carolina, drop me in the middle, and I'd be fine. I have that many networking connections in North Carolina at the moment.
It's fascinating, isn't it, that, and you called it the silver lining of what's gone on for the past year, but it truly is. Can you imagine any time in our lives, let alone the internet age, where we would have met so many people in such a short span of time?
No, this has truly been phenomenal in meeting everyone, because everyone's open to it, and everyone was home. Okay, they weren't going anywhere. So they had extra time on their hands also. So it wasn't only about business, it was about reaching out.
With respect to those who fell ill and those who are no longer with us, we do understand that, it has been a troubling time for many, but for a lot of people in business, the adjustment to the new way of doing business has been unbelievable. I'm going to come back and, I want to circle back to that in just a little bit. I want to talk about social media and how social media has changed in the past 12 months. But I think I'll save that. I'll save some tips for that for the very end. So Steve, if you're out there with us, stick with us till the end. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can leverage the power of social media to get new clients, like literally tomorrow. Stephen, what's your experience been with the way things have changed in the past 12 months?
When hearing you guys talk, and I truly believe that we were already kind of on our pathway there, right? We were, and that the trajectory was that more and more people were using social media and the internet to improve their business. I worked on email campaigns for a very long time, but also would help people build their social media, build their content, and people were very concerned with that, and we were already on that track. This just very accelerated things. And here's the truth of the matter. I will tell you both right now. I have heard people, adults, just like us, just say that they're terrified or they're resistant or they just don't like or they just don't want to use any of that. So for some people, it's a learning curve. It's a massive jump into social media, but ultimately that's why you're not alone in that factor. And you got to use some help. You got to team up with someone. You got to, it might be jumping on these lives has really revolutionized the way I think about social media, because I'm now looking at, what you're doing, Eileen, what you're doing, Chris, and what Bridget does. And it's very inspiring. It makes me more confident because it's worth understanding that we weren't born in a world with all this. This is all brand new to us. Yeah. It's way more new than riding a bicycle or getting the mail, which has been around since we were all young, so ultimately I think I'm very inspired by what I see, specifically a lot of adults and entrepreneurs doing online, because they're just innovating things in a way that it's really cool. It's really, really interesting. And the videos, I've seen more business people on videos. And that is just insane, because I remember at one point I didn't see any of that kind of going on, but people have become more courageous in tough times.
And I think no matter what you're doing, whether it's video, whether it's going live, or whether you're in a Zoom, some kind of a Zoom meeting, you have to be able to present yourself very well to your prospects. Consider, Eileen, you and I are on some meetings and there's 70 people on these things. You're talking with 70 other people. You've got to find a way to stand out. Eileen, wouldn't you say that is like the verbal version of your cover letter?
It definitely is. It is all in the presentation. If you're not presenting yourself well, why would someone want to? If you don't take yourself seriously, why should someone else take you seriously? Yeah. If you don't know how to talk about your business, anyone who is an expert at what they do, they should be able to go into a pitch like that. And not a sales pitch, but to talk about what they do and present it so others understand.
One of the best ways to present something so that others understand what you do is to talk to them about the transformation that they get in working with you. And you hear me say that all the time, but it's so true. If you can present someone with the transformation that they get in working with you, well, then you have this edge over everybody else who starts their pitch with what word?
I. I'm passionate.
Oh God.
I can help you.
I now count how many times a day I see that word.
I would turn I and passion. I would turn those two words into a drinking game, but I would die of alcohol poisoning by 10 a.m.
Entrepreneur drinking games. Now we're onto something here.
I see it in job searching also. It's not only entrepreneurs. I see it on resumes. I don't care what you're passionate about. What can you do for me as a hiring manager?
Congratulations, you're passionate about something. Now shut up and tell me about the transformation that you offer. I'm calling you all out, all you passionate people out there. Just stop. Cut it out. Knock it off right now. Start talking about the transformation. Michelle Murder is incredible at that. Whenever I hear that woman speak, she is always talking about the transformation that she provides. She teaches people how to better communicate in sales. And I know she's out there with us tonight. She's always talking about the transformation. Brian Bear, he's another one. Listen, that kid is always talking about the transformation. You're hot. I'm going to work for you. You're going to be cool. Very, very simple. That guy's transformation, dead simple. And Larry Schneider has got who's a regular on the show. His transformation, super, super, super simple. Change your water, change your life. You cannot forget that. And I'll also call out Cac the proofreader. Her name's Kathy Steiner, by the way. You see her in the comments. If you're writing anything, if you're scribbling a note to yourself on a napkin, you need that woman to proofread it.
You're not totally confident in all the versions of your.
Yeah, she is. She's amazing. She proofreads everything of mine. I want her to proofread everything of yours. If you're out there right now, she is busy as all get out. But what you need to do is you just need to just send her all your work and say, please proofread this. Yes. But truly, your ability to present yourself is your verbal cover letter. And Eileen, you know this. You've got to stand out. You have to.
But not in an obnoxious way. You need to stand out in a professional way, in a way someone's going to want to be attracted to you and want to do business with you. Look, when I first started this and all the online networking back in April, May, or March,
of 2020, of 2020, right?
2020, I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, I thought I'm presenting myself. And boy, I see everyone getting better through your program, Chris. It's amazing, the transformation that I've seen. And I'm like, well, they're all getting better. I must be getting better too, because, I'm progressing as well. Unbelievable, the transformation. I want to go back and watch the presentations from the beginning until now. It is incredible.
Those things are archived somewhere. We should definitely do that, because one of the elements, and you mentioned this, one of the elements of my program is a framework for communicating your value, which you can use in writing or in video or on Zoom meetings. It works everywhere. And you can tell once someone has been through that training, they instantly uplift their ability to pitch themselves, and their business grows. I'll call her out, Cac the proofreader. She's one of them. She messages me like with tears of joy, but she messages me and she's like, I don't have time to do all the work. And this is a woman who, before the program was like, I don't know where the work's going to come from. So we're driving into about 5 or 6 minutes left. Stephen, what's one more thing somebody can do to get a client, even by the end of the week?
By the end of the week, what I would say is that force yourself to have conversations and direct messages with people, because what I would say is that you're going to want to initially do everything but that. And if speed is the determining factor here, you need to start quantifying the conversations you're having and qualifying them. So in other words, and I love what you said, Eileen, when you were talking about don't be, you got to stand out. You got to be memorable, right? Don't be obnoxious, though. And what I would add on to that is just try to be your most genuine self. Try to be your genuine self, because this if someone's going to work with you, you want them to be a lifelong client. You want them to be a client who refers you and becomes a cheerleader, becomes a best friend in your world. And if you're your genuine self and they happen to be magnetized to that, you won't have to pretend. You won't have to do all these things that people do. You can be your genuine self, help them in their life for the rest of their life, and that's a client forever. And ultimately, so that's what I would say. But definitely the direct messages and the conversations. You've got to start asking yourself, how many conversations did I have today? How many conversations did I have this morning? How many conversations did I really have? Yeah. You know, and if Facebook status is going to get you those conversations, make a Facebook status that creates some of those conversations. But if you make a Facebook status and it doesn't generate those conversations, odds are, I bet you don't have business in the books.
That's fascinating and very well put. Brian Bear chimes in that he wants to make a video of what they do, but he's having a hard time because they're kind of crazy with what they do. I will attest to that. He's got a team that's so energized about what they do, which is HVAC, a residential and commercial HVAC. He's got a team that's so like, these people are so inspired by doing HVAC that like these people come in and they're just like, it's like woo woo woo. It's kind of like that. It's like they ride in on horses, and it's just you don't even know what's going on. But my guidance to Brian is make that video. You know,
document that.
Yeah, make the video that represents you, who you are. You know,
yeah, but I want it like this with the guns.
You can always edit it. Yeah, I want that. I want that.
Yeah. What I'll tell you from experience. I started doing videos in earnest a year ago. Eileen, you're the one that called me out on this. Yeah, I started doing videos in earnest a year ago. Eileen watched one of my videos from a year ago. She calls me up. She's like, "You sucked a year ago."
I did.
She did. She's like, "You were terrible a year ago," and I was. But I remember.
If you want to see this, wait, can I plug this? Everyone, tonight, go watch Chris's workshop on his website. Go watch it. And you will see the transformation of how much better Chris has gotten at this. And you will then realize how much better you're getting at it.
That's hidden. So anybody who wants to, I'm going to put it I'll put it in the chat right now. I'll put the link to that in the chat.
That's it.
I mean, it was incredible. Incredible information that you were giving. And I go back and watch it every now and then because, I forget and I want to refresh with all your videos, Chris. But wow, you've gotten so much better at this as well.
She really did. She called me and she was like, "Boy, you sucked in that thing. What are you doing?"
I didn't say that. I said you've gotten better. I'm always positive.
You said you were silly in that thing because it's not nice to say you suck. So I want to make a point, and then Eileen, I'm going to toss it over to you to bring this thing to a close. But I will say this. If you want to, and listen, I'm going to get super, super serious now, so I'm going to lean in. If you want to get a client this week, so it's Wednesday, you have 48 hours to the work week. You've got. Thank you so much, Michelle. That's so very kind of you. You have got 2 days left to this work week, but realistically, you've got 4 days left with the weekend. And you're an entrepreneur. You're working on this weekend. You want to get a client in the next 4 days. You're going to go onto social media and you are going to just post something that's pure value. Just open that kimono right up and post this nice, long, pure value post. Something that really gets people energized. Something that teaches, demonstrates your expertise, demonstrates your authority. And by doing so, you're going to build trust. And then every single person that likes or comments on this thing, you're going to reach out to those people and you're simply going to say, "Thank you for interacting with my content. I'd love to learn more about what you're up to. Can we hop on a quick Zoom so that you can tell me about your success in 2021? If you do that, even with 10 people, boom, you will have, and then you're going to message me, and then you're going to say, "Holy Chris, I want to learn more." I muted because I swore.
Who's taking notes on this? Where's my guy? Wasn't taking notes. Who's taking notes? Everyone will go back and rewatch that part because that was incredible.
And you're going to message me and you're going to say, "Chris, it worked. I got a client, or at least I got a bunch of meetings." And you're going to say, "I got to get into your program. And because your program is going to teach you how to do that, 1,000 times over. Okay, I'm done. So that's my tip. You want a client in the next 4 days, you follow that step by step. Tonight, you nurture that over the next couple of days, you will have a client by the next 4 days. It's very simple. Eileen, give us your last tip, and it is the bottom of the hour. I'll say thank you in a minute. Give us your last tip.
Gentlemen, I've been listening. What you have said has been incredible tonight. I'm going back and rewatching this. What you need is visibility. Otherwise, you are the best kept secret in town. So if you're sitting in your ivory tower, you are not getting business. You need to get out there. That is what Chris taught me. That is what we've all learned. Okay, Stephen, I've been watching every week. That's what you're saying. If you're sitting at home in front of your laptop and you're not doing anything, you're not going to get clients. It's that simple.
Incredibly put. Guys, we have been talking tonight about ways to rapidly get your first or next clients. If you're just joining us, you're too late, but you can watch the replay. And if you do watch the replay, #replay, let us know you were here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here tonight. Stephen, as always, thank you. Eileen, amazing to have you here sitting in for Bridget. Yes. Will you come back and visit us again?
I will. I was so honored. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And Stephen, thank you as always for being here, my friend. You're here every single week. Eileen. And Larry says it's a great show. Eileen, bring us home. You get the last word.
I get the last word. Go out, get clients, build your businesses. We'll see you on the